Hi, this is Anthony from CarPlayLife.com, and today we're looking at the three main wireless Apple CarPlay dongles for existing CarPlay systems and aftermarket receivers. We've reviewed a few dongles here at CarPlay Life, and if you are a subscriber you would have already seen our first impressions of each of these wireless dongles. But I still get many questions on which dongle should you buy and which dongle is better overall basically. So in this video, I hope I will go through each of these dongles, its features and its pros and cons, and then at the very end I will summarise which dongle might be for you. So in no particular order, let's dive in. So the first wireless dongle we'll look at today is the CarPlay to Air wireless dongle. This was the first dongle I received for review, and it was my first experience of using Apple CarPlay wirelessly in my car. I had no idea if the wireless dongle was going to work, let alone in an aftermarket receiver, so I was a little nervous when I first plugged it in. This dongle released after the first generation CarLinkit dongles, and it shares the same software code base as the other CarLinkit dongles. This means that whatever dongle you buy, the software that comes with it will be pretty much the same. It will connect to the same server to download the update, and the update will be the same software, and the firmware version and release date will also be the same. Being one of the first generation dongles, it comes with similar features as the first generation CarLinkit dongle. It has the same fixed USB-A cable that's attached at one end that you simply plug into the CarPlay enabled USB-A port in your car. Using a permanently attached cable can be a little bit of a concern, because if this cable was to break, become faulty or kink, you will have to replace the whole dongle, which can be rather expensive. It carries two small discrete lights on one end of the casing. This will display red and blue lights to tell you if there is a connection error or if the dongle is connected successfully. They will also flash during the update process too, between both lights. It's the smallest of the three dongles we have reviewed, measuring at 8 centimeters by 4 centimeters by 1.3 centimeters. It weighs 36 grams. The casing has a matte black finish, it's plastic, and there's a CarPlay to Air logo stamped on top. On one end of the dongle you'll find the USB-A through port. You use this to power your iPhone by connecting your lightning cable into it. This can save you from unplugging the dongle and allow you to quickly connect your iPhone and keep it charged for longer journeys. Performance wise, I've experienced a few crashes with this particular dongle, but a quick removal and reinsert of the dongle usually fixes this, because the dongle is self-powered by USB port. You just reboot the device basically. I've used this dongle the longest, so I've had more long-term experience with this particular dongle than I have with the others that I'll be covering today, and stability has improved with some of its earlier updates. Software updates have been fairly consistent and they have each helped improve stability. More recently I've had an update to fix a bug I always had when it wouldn't return to the CarPlay display after viewing the reverse screen on my Alpine receiver. Our next dongle is the CarLinkit 2.0 wireless CarPlay dongle. This was the second wireless dongle to arrive at CarPlay Life, and it's the second generation of the wireless dongle from CarLinkit. Although the software is shared along with the previous generation, the second generation is all about hardware, features and cosmetic improvements. The first difference to the previous generation is in its casing. It comes in either white or black colour to suit your car interior. It has a smoother, rounder and more shinier casing with the logo and status light on one side and a rougher matte texture underneath. There is a large LED status indicator on top of the case, meaning if the dongle is tucked away in a compartment or glove box, it will be much easier to see the operation status of the dongle. This LED status bar will display either red for when there is an error or flash green when there is a successful connection and your iPhone's paired. One immediate difference to the previous generation is that the USB-A to USB-C cable can be detached, and it is bundled with a USB-A to USB-C cable. There's a USB-C female port on one side of the dongle, which is a great new feature because not only can you replace the cable if the current cable breaks, you can also replace it with a much longer cable, or one that goes to USB-C if you have a newer car that has only USB ports. The retailer we've partnered with offers the same CarLink 2.0 dongle, a little bit cheaper than others sell it, and they also bundle a much longer USB-C to USB-A cable, which apparently is a bit higher quality than the stock cable that comes with the CarLinkit 2.0 dongle. Between the dongle generations, this is the only main visual differences between the first generation and the second generation dongle from CarLinkit. You get the same port on the end that is also a USB-A port, and on connecting the cable into this port, your iPhone will basically revert back to wired CarPlay. And whilst connected, the CarLinkit 2.0 dongle will also charge your phone too. The dongle itself measures 8.9 centimeters by 4.5 by 1.2 centimeters thick, and it weighs 42 grams along with its detachable cable. So this sits in the middle of the three dongles we are looking at today. You can see that its size is ever so slightly more than the CarPlay 2 yet much smaller than the JoyeAuto that we'll be looking at next. Performance wise, both black and white versions of the dongles have crashed on me. The CarLinkit has crashed on me slightly less than the CarPlay 2 but I've used both of these dongles much less than the CarPlay 2 so I have much less long-term experience with these dongles to fully judge them in this area. The second generation features 5.8 GHz Wi-Fi band connection, which means you have a faster connection between your iPhone and the dongle, whilst also having a different Wi-Fi band signal over the built-in 2.4 GHz Wi-Fi band that can be found in most vehicles. This can lead to better stability and performance in your car over the first generation dongles. With software shared with the CarPlay 2 dongle, updates are regularly released and they have each helped improve stability and fix bugs. There has been an occasion where firmware updates have released and it has bricked a few dongles, so I would say be careful and check online before you rush to update them. My thoughts are, if you think everything works for you, don't update. It's not really going to improve speeds by updating. So if anything's broken in your car, just literally do the update then, otherwise leave it as is and don't attempt to brick your device basically. The final wireless dongle we'll be looking at today is the JoyeAuto wireless USB dongle. This dongle arrived as a bit of a surprise, as I honestly thought it was a two-horse race with CarPlay wireless dongles. We've already seen that both of the previous dongles are pretty much the same, however the JoyeAuto dongle covers a few things differently. So to look at it, everything looks familiar to the other dongles. We have a fixed USB-A cable on one end and the USB-A through port on the other. It's a shiny black casing with a white logo that also acts as a status light on top. So this is where the similarities end to the other dongles. The first difference is teased by this line that you see running around the dot outside of the dongle. By holding on to both sides of this dongle, of this join, you can pull it apart to reveal its first hidden trick. When pulled apart, you reveal that the dongle can have its wired section totally removed, and instead you can directly insert this dongle into the vehicle just like a USB drive. I don't know the technical improvements of this method, but I like to think a direct connection that rules out any additional parts could improve stability and possibly help with speed, but it's very likely not to make any difference at all. But what does help with this route is that it makes it a tidier console. If your vehicle can accept the size of this dongle, you can just plug it straight into the USB port and not have to worry about it flapping about in your center console if it was to hang from this extension cable. The size of the JoyeAuto is the largest we have encountered, which is frustrating if you just want to plug it in without the cable. So this size might be due to the size of the components needed to attach both parts of the dongle together. Its total casing, including the cable section, measures 10 centimeters by 4.7 by 2 centimeters thick. With the cable part removed and inserting it directly into the console, you've got a measurement of 7.7 by 4.7 by 2 centimeters thick. And the whole thing weighs 49 grams with the cable attached. The printed logo on top of the dongle also acts as a status light. Because of this, it can be a little bit harder to see in the daylight, but it's a nice discreet way to display the error and connection statuses of this particular dongle. Performance wise, the JoyeAuto has only crashed on me once, but this is over the past few weeks I've used it. The dongle has been my least used dongle over time. It also features the same 5.8 GHz Wi-Fi band as the second generation CarLinkit dongle, so it has the same advantages of speed and stability in Wi-Fi enabled vehicles, and also iPhones with 5 GHz Wi-Fi support. Its speed of boot did initially feel a little bit faster than the other dongles. This might have been due to the second main feature of this dongle, its software. JoyeAuto previously partnered with the other makers to help develop the software used across all the dongles. However, they have decided to go their own direction and they will be developing future updates exclusively for their own wireless dongle. This means over time we will start to see compatibility differences between the JoyeAuto and the other makers as they take a different direction to vehicle support and fixes. Since using the JoyeAuto for a number of weeks now, I've not seen an update yet for its dongle, where the other two dongles have received a couple of firmware updates. But after the recent bricking update for the other dongles, it might be a simple case of quality over quantity for JoyeAuto. This dongle has worked in my Alpine receiver just as fine as the other dongles have, so I would say compatibility, it has been equal to the others on my Golf. That's been fitted with an Alpine X902D G7 receiver. And having close contact with the JoyeAuto team, I can tell you that they are pretty passionate about developing a wide compatibility of support for as many vehicles as they can for this particular dongle. JoyeAuto also features a noticeable update to its main menu interface compared to the other dongles that are running the same software. This is a sign of their drive to enhance the experience with their wireless dongle. The one issue I did have with the JoyeAuto is switching between multiple phones in the car. All three dongles suffer with this issue of switching between phones, so it's just easy just to reboot and switch the device over. Yet the JoyeAuto has an additional problem where it doesn't currently display more than one device in its revised menu interface, where the other dongles can display and allow you to select from all previously paired devices to the dongle. I have flagged this up with the team and it will be looked at in a future update for the JoyeAuto dongle specifically. So you might be asking, which wireless CarPlay dongle should you buy, or should I update from my other wireless CarPlay dongle? It really depends on the vehicle it's being plugged into and what your priorities are. Across all three dongles, the experiences you encounter after boot up are pretty much identical. Speed-wise, they are all very similar, and it's likely these dongles all feature the same iPhone 6 chip inside them. Updating all three dongles is done in just the same way by connecting to it over its IP address. The software downloaded will just be different between the JoyeAuto and the other two dongles. The issue I find with all these dongles, however, after their compatibility support, is their speed of boot up times. It may not be an issue for many, but for some it's still a concern. As you can see in my earlier test results, the speed of them can vary, yet the average between them is very small. Once you've booted into CarPlay, the experience is pretty much the same, and boot up speeds can be improved if the next generation of these dongles become fitted with faster iPhone chips. The iPhone 6 chip inside these dongles are now pretty old in comparison to today's iPhones. So as soon as the dongle maker upgrades their integrated chip to a faster one, only then we will see speed improvements with boot up times. The lag delay you may encounter between screen interactions, swapping tracks, and in some streamed apps is a common issue found with wireless CarPlay, and to me it's very minimal and a non-issue. This really can't be improved that much, and if a second or two delay really does bother you, you should maybe stick with wired CarPlay. Some owners have complained about the delay in long phone calls whilst also using these dongles, but I've not personally experienced this in my setup, so it could be a number of factors in the car at fault here. For me, my personal choice is between the second generation CarLinkit dongle and the JoyeAuto. The JoyeAuto has a nicer menu, it is faster, yet it currently has device swapping issues. The CarLinkit 2.0 wireless dongle is nice and compact. It has a clear status light on the top if you find that important, and it has a detachable cable that can be extended as well as the option to use a USB-C to USB-C cable. You can pick up a wireless CarPlay dongle from $129 for the first generation CarPlay to Air dongle. It's $109 for the CarLinkit 2.0 dongle, or it's $155 for the JoyeAuto with our CarPlay Life coupon to get $20 off your order. So the CarLinkit 2.0 with its free shipping and the Pro cable, if you manage to get one, is the price conscious option. But for all these dongles, their compatibility is the key factor, because as wide as their compatibility list state, not all the vehicles that are mentioned are supported, and without any solid assurance that your dongle will even work with your system, unless you've read it on a comment on a forum or online, you may find yourself stuck with a non-functioning dongle in your particular vehicle. It can feel like a bit of a lottery, but it's one with good odds because these dongles work on a high number of vehicles already, as well as aftermarket receivers. But there are some vehicles and receivers that will have to either wait for an update to help improve their support or send the dongle back to its supplier. There has been many comments on various experiences on the cost of returning the items, and some also demand a restocking fee. If you really don't want to wait for an update for your vehicle or receiver, then you may either file a complaint with your credit company that you used to buy the dongle, or just go through the process of returning and getting a refund from the supplier. Whichever dongle you decide to buy, the experience is great if the dongle is able to work in your vehicle or receiver. It's a quality of life piece of technology really, that's simple to just plug and play into your existing wired CarPlay system, and it just works. So I hope you managed to get all the way to the end of this video. If you have, I hope you have found it helpful in deciding what dongle is for you and if you need to upgrade. If you have found it helpful, please leave us a like and subscribe to this channel. It really helps us out. And that's all for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers. Bye.